Boy, I'm standing by with Sacy after a tight two-map victory over X10. Sacy, we're going to talk about the matchup in just a
Right.
moment itself, but I do want to get a sense from you as for many viewers around the world, first time getting a look at each of these teams. What was your expectation both for yourself and Vikings coming into this tournament?
I'll be honest, I thought it was easier. It got really tough on the icebox. They got a really good composition against us. They got a really different composition, like based on Brazil. Like Brazil plays style is really aggressive, and they have a slow game, as most European teams have, to be honest. So it's really hard for us, but we managed to get a win, so it's fine.
All right, well, actually, I do. I'm going to jump right into a meta question then, since you brought it up, because there's been a lot of conversation. Every region does have a different approach, and analysts have been trying to predict which region's meta is going to be the one to kind of dominate, and whether or not teams will start to adapt to that. Do you think it's going to be best for teams to stick to what they did in their own region, or try and slowly morph into what is considered the best?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question because the first 3 days we got stumped for everyone.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get used to the slow game. So we were thinking, okay, do we go to this meta, like playing with Sage? Because Brazil, we don't usually play Sage. And then after like 4 days getting stumped, we said, okay, just go Brazil style. We don't have time for it. So we have the mentality that we will keep playing like Brazilian and see if it works. If it doesn't, we'll come back stronger.
Stick with what you know, and it worked
Yeah.
this time around. But you mentioned the Sage pickup, and actually I want to talk about map 2 Ascent, because Patty Penn
Yeah.
has never played Sage on that map before. He's most notably a Jet player, and yet they
Yeah.
pulled it out. So when you saw that coming out of Agent Select, how did that change your plan and your approach to that map too?
I mean, he is the best player from X10. I was like, okay, that's good for us, maybe. Like I don't know. Like he's not going to play an operator, right? So we thought that was fine. Like we did get a first half that was okay. It was 6-6, I think. But then when we got to defend, we still managed to get a lot of rounds on them. But then they started to play really slow, and we got into their player style. That was the thing that got to the overtime.
Yeah, first overtime of the tournament as
Yeah,
well. So
yeah, it was
definitely
tough.
made it exciting, but
Yeah.
you guys were able to eke it out. I was actually really impressed, as more a comment than a question. His Sage wall over mid, you guys dealt with
Yeah.
that immediate pressure so well, but it was that kind of creativity
He
that I
jumped
was
from mid,
wondering.
like-
Oh, it was wild, man. That
Yeah,
was
he's
wild.
wild.
Last question to you is that you pick up this first win in the upper bracket. You move on to play the winner of Sentinels versus Fnatic. That is a titanic matchup that we'll see later today.
Yeah.
Who do you think you're going to end up facing next?
I mean, based on the screams that we have playing, I think he is a little better right now. To
Okay.
be honest, sorry, NFA, sorry.
That's me.
But, oh, sorry, sorry. It's a little bit, but like if Sentinels has like the capacity of like adapting to their playstyle, I think they win because of his aim is insane. Like Tens, Dapper, like Shahzam, they were all good players. So I think if they win, it's all about the aim, dude.
Well, I look forward to it after seeing the kind of style that you guys threw up
Yeah.
on the maps today. If and when you play either of those two teams, it's going to be a good one. Congratulations on the 2-0
Thank you.
victory today. From here, we're heading to a break, and then we get our first NA versus EU clash. It's TL versus version 1. Thank you so much, Golden Boy. I am here with Penny after taking the first of the victories in the NA versus EU battle. Penny, 3 maps, 2 of them extraordinarily close. The third one became dominant. First things first, I just want to know what's going through your head right now.
That was definitely crazy. That was like the most intense series I ever played, and plus it's on LAN. We're like screaming at each other. Both teams are screaming at each other. It was pretty crazy.
I love to see the interaction of the players across the stage getting into each other's heads. Let's start working through the maps one at a time. We started on Split. It was your guys' map pick. It went to triple overtime of all things. And I think I look at you as the player who's a big reason why it went that far. I'm thinking about the op push through the Viper wall on site. I mean, what got into you today that you were able to play like that?
Honestly, what I wanted to do today is just play how I normally play online, like how I played the last series. I don't want to change how I'm playing just because I'm on LAN, right? I want to keep like doing what I was doing that worked in NA, so that I can actually like we can come here and win some games.
Now, unfortunately, that map didn't go your way, so we load on to Ascent. That is, of course, the map pick of your opponents in this situation. So what was the thought process going in there? Because you guys started extremely hot, 5-0 on defense.
Honestly, with playing with jammies right now, we haven't had like a lot of practice, right? It's like maybe the week we've been here and like a day before we left, so we haven't actually played a lot of Split before we left, or
Okay.
like before this game even. So I suppose actually our least played map in practice. So the only reason we picked it is because we knew what all the maps were going to be since they banned Icebox. We wanted to play Icebox. But I think playing with Jammies is like working very well right now for us.
Sweet. Well, yeah, again, on Ascent, it was 5-0 to start for you guys. Then it evened up at 5-5. It was a very streaky map. What do you think was ultimately the difference maker there that you guys were able to push it to Haven and the third map overall?
I think I have to give credit to Vanity, like always. He's making some really good calls, especially in like these tight moments. And I think also Jammies, Jamal, he's been playing really well.
Sweet.
Like with the Viper. So yeah, it's good to see.
Ended in a sick way too, with the double darts over from Effie's on the attempted defuse. That brings us to Haven, and from there you guys just ran away with it. What was going on there? I mean, the post plant situations looked amazing, but a 10-2 attacking half. I mean, that just made the rest of the series not feel as close all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm really glad that we didn't have to do the same thing we did on the last two maps because that was like really stressful. So I think Zelsis showed up a lot on that map. He had some big rounds, some big clutches, especially that 1v2 at the end. Yeah, I don't know. It's a crazy feeling.
Any of it feel like you figured Team Liquid out?
I don't think so. I think they're actually really good, but I think maybe they got in their own head a little bit and they started playing like not playing how they want to play, and like maybe that was on us. Like we made it so they couldn't play how they wanted to play. But I really do think they're really good, but we just won this time.
Sweet. A number of people were calling you guys the underdogs if there was one coming into that matchup, NA versus EU. We're about to head into another NA versus EU match with Sentinels versus Fnatic. I just want to get your opinions on how that match is about to break down.
I mean, I'm definitely going to watch this after. I think Sentinels will win, but Fnatic have been looking very good. I don't know if it's just because of the team they played, like, because I really don't know about all the other teams, right? I think Sentinels will win.
Sweet. Well, that's a lot of what this tournament's here to figure out, right? Is where do the regions stack up against each other? Well, Penny, you popped off today. It was an absolute treat to watch you guys take it in 2-1 fashion. Thank you for taking the time to interview with me here. From here, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, it's the second of the two NA versus EU clashes, Sentinels versus Fnatic. A 2-0 victory to kick off the tournament for you guys, and in the battle of NA versus EU, you bring home another dub for us on the day. So first question to you is, how does it feel to kick it off in such a dominant way?
It feels good. You know, we definitely got some motivation watching V1 take down Liquid. Had to do it for NA, but it's relieving because it was a really close game. It was a stressful game. They're a good team, but I'm happy we closed it out 2-0.
All right, let's talk about how the games broke down. It started off on Icebox. That was Fnatic's pick. It went 13-11 your way. But I want to talk about it half by half, actually, because first half felt very back and forth. You know, one round going one way, two the other, and ended in 6-6 fashion. You know, how did you feel first time out on the LAN and you know, warming into the matchup and, you know, this specific one?
Yeah, first half was definitely back and forth. I think there was like an adjustment period for us, getting used to like the audio, and I realized like 6 rounds into the first half that all my graphic settings were on high. So like it was just getting warmed up. You know, I feel like we're reading them well, but just some sloppy rounds. But we have really good mental as a team, so we know, like, even if we throw away some rounds we feel like we should have won, we can definitely close it out in the second half.
Get those extra pixels off my screen. I hear you. All right, so second half, all of a sudden you guys just fire off 5-0 straight off in the second half. I mean, what happened there? Did you just find your groove? You feel better on the attacking side? Like, what was that about?
I think we just had a really good read on them. You know, they played KRU on Icebox the day before, and so like our preparation, a lot of stuff that they did there was pretty similar, and so just good reads. Beyond that, people just, you know, getting the trades they need to and warming up. And then we kind of gave them a string of rounds.
I was going to say, it went 5 the other direction immediately to kind of even it back up. So where was your head at that point when you're tied up 11-11?
It's a typical Sentinels play, is we get close to the match point and we start to try to force the issue. Like, throw rounds that I feel like we have good reads on, but they got some good timings and they played well. Good adjustments. I remember like getting flanked twice. They were just reading us too. So it's fine. As long as we close the match out, I'm happy.
Yeah. Be honest with me. The .02 round, it was the pistol round that kicked off that second half. You guys had to have been losing your minds there.
Yeah, every game I feel like we have some crazy diffuse or close round that just like, you know, once we get the round, there's just like a sigh of relief on everyone. So yeah, I'm glad it went our way.
I mean, hey, we're glad it went that way. You popped off in that first map as well. 31 kills to top frag for the team. That pushes us to Haven. This one, a little bit of a different story because it was an 8-4 first half for you guys. And so, again, is that just, I mean, your map, you chose it, you feel more confident there? Did you kind of have more of a set plan going in?
Yeah, we definitely had a game plan for Haven, you know, as our map pick. even with A4, like we knew we had like good reads on some of the rounds they won and like some miscommunications that got them the round. So we were feeling good going in the second half. I think we let them in a bit because I think I'll take responsibility for that. I was trying to force the issue again with like some hard antis, but you know, they were adjusting well. So it became a close game, and I think that some of the players on the team got warmed up and came up huge on rounds. So
I mean, yeah, you started to see Tens find his rhythm there on the jet and find the kills. Because I was going to say you only needed 5 on the back half, and I kind of wonder for you, especially as one of the leaders on the squad, when you have that cushion going into a second half, does that change the way you approach overall, or is it still you got to play to that kind of full aggression that we normally know from Sentinels?
I think it definitely changes the way you play when you're up. I feel like individually, people will take more risks, you know, which could close you out a match, but which could also let the other team back in. I think that's the problem we have too. But it's about like, you know, cleaning up the gameplay, like resetting. Even if we let them in a few rounds, just reset, take a deep breath, and we'll focus on our game plan.
Well, the 2-0 is going to push you through here in the upper bracket. I just want to kind of take a step back from the match at hand and talk about the tournament overall. A lot of people talking about you guys as one of the favorites to take it all. So, you know, here we are, first land. I want to know what you're feeling in terms of pressure and expectations here at Masters 2.
Yeah, we're definitely the favorites, like by like general consensus. There's pressure there. You know, we're representing a region. If anyone's going to represent NA here, it's going to be us. We've been the most consistent team. But also that means all eyes are on us. Like other teams are prepping for us. So we've really made good time in like the quarantine and stuff to reinvent ourselves, change some of our comps. People will still have a lot to see from us.
All right, sweet. I don't want to give too much away. Your next team that you're playing is Vikings. Any thoughts on the Brazilian team there? Because they impressed a lot yesterday as well.
Yeah, a lot of people have been giving them praise, like from scrims and stuff. We actually practiced that first time before, and I could see some of the stuff they're doing is pretty good. You know, like we're gonna go in like any other match. We're gonna respect them, not underestimate, but still bring our A game.
All right, well, sounds good, man. Thank you again so much for taking the time to interview with me. I really do. I want to congratulate you on the sweet kickoff to the tournament here today with the 2-0.
Thank you.
All right, from here, we're throwing it back to the Golden Gang to close out the day.
Oh, I like